Hello everyone, it's Angel from the Abernathy's Go Green, and today I am going to be reviewing the Aether Beauty Crystal Grid palette, as well as show you 3 looks that I've put together using the shades in this palette since I've been playing with it for about 2 weeks now. So this is what the outside looks like. It has a rubber band here to keep the lid shut, and then you just flip that over and then the shadows look something like this. It has a plastic protective sheet to go on top of your shadows, and the names of the shades are printed on this sheet as well as the back of the palette. I personally would prefer it to have been written next to the shades so that way it's easier to reference to, but that's how they made it. But this is supposed to be the first palette that is completely biodegradable once you remove the metal pans that the shadows are pressed into. It doesn't have a mirror, as you can see, and it doesn't have any magnets to seal it shut. I showed you that rubber band to keep it closed. So this palette comes with 12 shades that's supposed to be inspired by the cosmos. So there are no matte shades in this palette, they're all very shimmery, and it does retail for $58. And it's available in a lot of online retailers. They have the AetherBeauty.com. They also sell this on Petit Vour, which is where I got my palette from. And they also sell it on Credo, and I want to point that out because Credo will accept returns on this within 30 days, even if you've used it, so that's really good. I know that Petit Vour will not. Once you've touched it, they will not take a return, and neither will the Aether company. So as far as I know, Credo will accept a return within 30 days. And as far as the ingredients on this, they are very good. They contain coconut oil, shea butter, rosehip, and moringa oil, all of which are organic. It does contain some synthetic and natural pigments, as well as yellow 5-lake. So if you're trying to avoid that, know that this does contain that yellow 5-lake. And it doesn't specify which shade has it. You know, a lot of palettes like this that comes with a bunch of colors, they will tell you, like, let's say the diamond shade has such and such ingredients, and then the next shade will have different ingredients. This just tells you the ingredients for, looks like for all of them, but I can't see all of them having the yellow 5-lake in here. But that's just how they have it laid out in their website. So I'm going to show you 3 looks today using the shades in this palette, but I am going to use one of my 100% pure single eyeshadow as a transition shade because this doesn't come with a good transition shade because they're all shimmers. But I prefer to have a lighter matte eyeshadow to use it as a transition shade, and then I'll review each shade as I'm using them because there are a lot of similarities and differences between the formulas in all of the shades. And as far as prepping my lids for the shadow application, all I did was just dust a little bit of the Well People Bio Brightener powder on my lids. As I was setting my concealer, I just went ahead and dusted it all over my lids too, just to prep it for the eyeshadows. And I'll have all the other makeup products that I used in the description box below. And I also did a look using these 2 shades because I realized that these 3 looks, I didn't dip into any of these middle colors. I will go ahead and link that Get Ready With Me so you'll see these 2 colors perform if you would like. So I think that's all I have to say, so let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the video. So for our first look, I'm gonna do something a little bit more wearable but still colorful. We're gonna play with these 2 shades. This one is called Manifest, and it's described as a bronze shimmer that is infused with Topaz. This one on top of Manifest is called Topaz, and it's described as an antique gold metallic infused with topaz as well. I'm just gonna put Manifest all over my crease and then Topaz on my inner half of my eyelids. And I've told you guys before that I really don't think that this has a very good transition shade. So I've been liking using the 100% pure eyeshadow in the shade Toffee. This is a discontinued shade, but any transition shade really that you like to use will work. So I will just take this with a fluffy blending brush where I would put my transition shade, just in like a windshield wiper motion. And then I'm gonna take Manifest, the shade down here, with a fluffy blending brush and put it all over my crease. I really have to swirl my brush into the pan to really pack the pigment in there. It looks very intense in the pan, but really I think it's pressed very hard in there that I really have to work my brush in there to get some pigments into my brush. And then I'll just put that all over my crease. focusing most of the color on the outer portion of my crease. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Really work that brush in there. And I feel like this is the only shade that I need to do that with. The rest of the shades are pretty soft. I think I need to put a little bit more on this side. I forgot to press record and I already did this side, but I'm taking the smudging end of this brush and work it into that color. Same shade that we used up here, and I'm just lining my lower lash line with it. And as you can see, there's really not any fallout at all, so I really like it. I'm gonna take my finger and pick up a little bit or a lot of this Topaz shade here, and then I'm gonna put it on my inner third or inner half of my eyelids. We'll see how much we end up with. Pick up a little bit more. Okay, so that's one eye done. I'm going to do it on the other side. Just make sure they're even. There's that. And then I'm gonna take the same smudging brush that I used earlier, and I've just kind of cleaned it off. I have a towel here to get rid of the manifest that I was using earlier, and then I'm just gonna use that smudge brush. And this one I don't have to really work my brush into the pan really hard as I did with this one, because it's a little bit softer. That one I am gonna apply on my lower lash line, just so it matches the top. And then I'm going to clean off my smudge brush again, and I'm going to dip it into this color called Diamond. And this is my favorite inner corner highlight. And they describe this color as a sand shimmer shade infused with diamond. And this one is also very soft and buttery and very pigmented. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that diamond shade and pop it into my inner corners. And then some more as a brow bone highlight. And then for this look, I just want to put on a ton of mascara and just really volumize and lengthen the lashes. And then I'm also going to pair it with a hot pink lip. So I'm just going to do those off camera and I'll be back with the finished look. So this is what the finished look looks like. I really like how this turned out, and this wears all day long on me. I did notice that the first time I used this, I put the Topaz, just like a sheer wash of gold all over my lid, and applied lightly, it does not last. It creased like 5 minutes later. But whenever you pack on the pigments onto your lids like I did today, you obviously get a lot more of a color payoff, but it also stays on the lid all day long, like 8+ hours, and it will not crease. Not on me at least, and I have pretty oily lids. Yeah, that's how it looks like, and I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I think it looks very pretty. And then for our second look, we are going to be playing with Amber and Energy. This one up here is called Amber, and they describe this one as Golden Sunset Metallic infused with Amber. And then Energy is down here, and it's described as a Rust Metallic, which is also infused with Amber. So we're going to play with these two colors, this one in the crease, and then this one on the inner 2/3. And then of course I'm going to pop Diamond on the inner corners because that's my favorite inner corner and brow bone highlight. So first I'm going to take a little bit of my transition shade. I'm using Toffee again from 100% Pure with the same brush we used on our first look, and just put it where I would put my transition shade. And it's very dark out today, guys. I usually just rely on natural lighting when I film my videos, but there's no natural lighting outside today. It is so dark and gloomy and rainy, and it's 9 in the morning, and it's supposed to be raining all day today. So I apologize that it's not any brighter in here today. So there's the transition shade on. And then I'm going to take my fluffy blending brush. I forget what I used whenever I did this look the first time. We'll just do the fluffy blending brush and reach for another brush if I need to. And I'm just going to pop that into our deeper color here, the Rust Metallic color. And deposit the pigments first because this is quite pigmented. But as you can see, I didn't have any problem picking up any of that shadow. Kind of just tap it on. And then blend it. I'm going to get a little bit closer to my mirror here. Okay, and then I'm going to take my smudge brush here and dip it into that same color, Energy color, and I'm going to line my lower lash line with it, just the outer third. It looks like a very harsh line on my viewfinder, but in person it looks very smooth. So I'm going to leave it like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Pop a little bit onto my blending brush here. It's very pigmented, and I have a little bit of a kickback, but not too much really. Can you guys see it? A little bit of kickback on the pan, but not too bad. So I've got both eyes done with the shade Energy all over my crease, and line my lower lash line with it also. I'm going to take a shader brush or a packer brush and dip it into Amber right here. And I just want to pack some of the pigments onto my brush here. This one I do notice that it's developing a hard pan. I don't know if you can see it. This one here. And I'm not a fan of that. As far as I can see, this one is developing a hard pan. This sapphire color here is also got a little bit of a hard pan, and this one, the shade that we used, the look from earlier, but this one is doing really well. That one's just perfect. But so now that I have the Amber on my packer brush, I'm just going to put it on the inner 2/3 of my eyelids. And since it's developed that hard pan, I'm really having to dig my brush in there. I'm gonna have to scrape that off after I'm done. But it's laying down the pigments really well with this packer brush. This is giving me really some fall vibes. And then I'm gonna take my smudge brush here again and dip it into that same shade, the Amber shade, and put it on my lower lash line again. And so far, you guys, I don't have any fallout, so that's really good. And then I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that same thing that I did on the other side. So there's the eyeshadow look done with those two colors. Now I'm going to pop in a little bit of the diamond shade just with my smudge brush again onto my inner corners and my brow bone. Just as a little highlight. Okay, so that's the eyeshadow look completely done. So I'm going to finish my look here. I'm just going to pop on a little bit of a liquid eyeliner. I'm going to use the Pacifica liquid liner, the Honest Beauty mascara, and for lips I'm going to use the Axiology lip crayon in the shade Enduring, and then I'll be back to show you guys the completed look. So this is what the finished look looks like with the lashes and liner and lips done. I can totally see myself rocking this look whenever fall rolls around. I think it looks so pretty and very colorful and warm and smoky, but still very wearable. So on to our third look. Today we are going to be playing with Moonlight, which is this one up here, and Recharge. Moonlight is described as a white silver metallic infused with diamond. And Recharge is a charcoal gray metallic infused with topaz. I do not like Moonlight on its own on my eyelids. I feel like it's too white and very cool toned for my skin tone. So I'm gonna mix Moonlight and Recharge together and put it all over my lid to hopefully kind of tone down all that white silvery-ness happening and make it more wearable for my skin tone. So I'm just dipping back and forth between these two shades onto a small packing brush, and then I'm going to put it all over my lid. And you know what? I forgot my transition shade. So hang on. Let's dip into this, again, the 100% pure single eyeshadow in the shade Toffee, into a fluffy blending brush. And also add that to my lower lash line. Okay, there's my transition shade on. Now we can move on to this little brush that I've packed my pigments onto. And I'm just gonna apply this all over my lids. Clean up the inner corner here because I don't want too much pigments there because we're gonna put something else there. But that's how it looks like right now, and then I'm just gonna do the other side also. And then I'm gonna take a clean fluffy blending brush. I don't have any pigments on this, and I'm just gonna clean out the edges. Get rid of any strong, harsh lines. Okay, that's what it looks like so far. And then now I'm going to take maybe that same fluffy blending brush, and I'm gonna dip it into Recharge, that gunmetal shade. These two are softer than this shade, but harder pressed than this one. I think this is the most soft, buttery texture in this palette, but fluffy blending brush on the gunmetal shade, and then I'm just gonna apply that on my outer corner and blend in a little bit into the crease, or where I want my crease to be. Because I have very hooded eyes, I put my crease shade above where my crease actually is. So just stamp it on first and deposit the color. And then start blending. Okay, I think there's that, and then I'm gonna repeat on the other side, of course. Stepping back once in a while to make sure they look even. And then I'm going to take a small smudge brush and dip it into Moonlight. And I think I'm going to deeper the outer portion of my eyes. When you apply with a fluffy blending brush, it diffuses the shades, obviously, because it's a lot bigger. But if you take a dense brush like this one, it concentrates the color exactly where you want it. I feel like this would also look very pretty if you had a matte black eyeshadow to help deepen the outer V. Okay, so that's the top of the eyelids done. Now I want to add a little bit of color on my lower lash line. So I'm going to take a small brush here and I'm going to go back and forth between these two colors again. And line my lower lash line with it. And then do the same on the other side. Okay, and then I'm going to clean that brush so I can use it again. This time only on the gunmetal shade. And I'm going to concentrate this on the outer portion of my under eyes, or my lower lash line. And then same thing on the other side. And then clean that same brush again, and we're going to dip into the silver shade up here. And we're going to use that as an inner corner highlight, just on its own. See, that's about how much I like of that color on its own, just as an inner corner highlight. Even that looks, well, I don't know, I like it. It seems a little bit more wearable. And I'm going to clean that brush up again, and I'm going to dip into the diamond shade here just a little tiny bit and apply it as an brow bone highlight. I kind of even feel like I should reach for a matte brow bone highlight because this is such a shimmery, gunmetal-y look. So this is the eyeshadow look done. I am going to go ahead and line my waterline with a black pencil liner. I'm using the Au Naturel eyeliner. And then I'm going to use the Pacifica liquid liner on my top lash line. And then, of course, load up on the mascara. And the lipstick that I'm wearing today is the Red Apple lipstick in the shade Mabel. I think it looks really pretty with this. It's very cool toned, so Mabel is pulling a little cool toned with this eye look. But I'm gonna apply these products on my eyes and then I will be back with the finished look. So this is the finished look. I think it turned out so pretty. Obviously not something that I would personally wear on an everyday basis, but I can see myself wearing this for special occasions. So that's gonna go ahead and complete this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and spending a little bit of your day with me. Let me know in the comments down below if you have this palette and what you guys think of it. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye!